You're listening to the Better Relationships After Baby podcast, where I believe your relationship can be stronger than ever after having a baby. It just takes tools, conversation, and support to help you get there. I'm Chelsea Skaggs, certified life and relationship coach, mom of two, and survivor and thriver of tough relationship challenges after babies. I'm committed to helping couples just like you improve your communication skills, connection points, and personal confidence so that you can have the life and family you've always dreamt of. Now, let's get to today's episode. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. It's Chelsea here to chat with you about another hot topic and give you not only insight, but a next step. I'm coming to you today from this tiny little room in my co-working space, and my chair is a little squeaky. I also move a lot with my hands and my body when I'm recording these podcasts, so if you hear a squeak in the background, that's why. Today, we are diving headfirst into the mental load. This term, mental load, refers to the invisible and often, usually, unrecognized burden of managing household tasks, childcare responsibilities, and emotional labor. And what we see is that this is primarily shouldered by mothers. No surprise there. Today, there is an increased awareness around this, but when I became a mom 7 years ago, I did not know this term, and believe me, we weren't using this term in conversations with friends or with my partner. I didn't even know what to say about how I was feeling. I just knew I felt like everything fell on me. It felt like I was the one who automatically thought about or worried about things that needed planned, keeping tabs on updates, organizing with others, on and on and on. When we think about this, it's no wonder that we are so damn exhausted. So much of what goes into caring for a baby and the home goes unseen, but we still feel that in our brains and our bodies. Now we're seeing a lot more chatter about the mental load from social media to news segments, but I want to be really clear about my intentions of entering this conversation with you. I am not here to create more women upset with their husbands. Like, what good does that do to introduce something and to talk about it only to make more people feel upset or helpless or resentful? We're not going to do that. I don't want to add to criticism or the you never, you always, I'm the one who. Look, I've had those conversations too. I've said those things too, but we're not going for more of that. There is a better way. I want to see productive change, and I believe in productive change because not only have I experienced it in my own relationship, shout out to Michael, and I felt the benefits of how we've worked on this and grown together, but I see it every day in my clients who are learning how to identify and communicate the mental load and find ways that make sense for their family to more evenly distribute things. Note I said for their family because we'll talk about this later, but this is not a one-size-fits-all, flip a switch, hoo-ha kind of situation. This is personal to you and your family. Now, before we talk about making things better, let's look at a non-exhaustive list. I have 10 examples of the mental load and how it impacts new moms. First one, remembering appointments. Keeping track of those pediatrician appointments, the vaccination schedules, and any other medical visits for the baby. Example 2, planning meals. Thinking about what to cook for the family, ensuring that it caters to dietary restrictions, considering everyone's preferences, knowing when and how and where baby's going to eat. All of this is a load. Next, managing household supplies, keeping that inventory of items like diapers, wipes, baby formula, making sure they're replenished on time, making sure there's some available in the diaper bag or in the car if you're going somewhere. It's like this checklist you always have to go through. Scheduling includes organizing your family's schedules. Maybe it's a play date, maybe it's some kind of socialization, maybe it's holiday planning with family. For some reason, these holiday plans with friends and family typically are done through the women, and that falls on you, mama. I see you. Let me just insert this tip that I think the number one way we can start to eradicate this is by organizing holidays, events, socials, etc. with both partners and not just mom. And that applies to you no matter what age your kids are. Okay, back to the list. Emotional labor. Being the primary source of emotional support for the family, which includes managing tantrums, soothing a fussy baby, just creating that positive atmosphere at home. We find that moms usually feel responsible and connected to creating that kind of energy. There are also things like safety concerns, so constantly assessing the potential safety hazards in your home, to baby proofing, to ensuring that the car seat's in correctly, to then teaching grandma and grandpa how to do that, or thinking ahead to going to a friend's house and all the things that need to be baby proofed. This all loads up in your brain. A couple other examples are things like decision making and taking in information. This could be researching parenting advice, knowing what to be looking for child development milestones, keeping up with all of those recalls and safety warnings, and making decisions throughout the day. These examples illustrate that this is a multifaceted thing. The mental load is cognitive, emotional, and practical, and it all touches our daily lives. So what do we do with this? The mental load goes beyond just overwhelming for a new mom. Since I've been talking about this for about 4 years now, I've walked through the impact cycle with a number of couples. Obviously, no one is exactly the same, but overall, it tends to look and feel like this. First, new mom takes on more of the invisible tasks of home and baby. Now, this can be debated about whether it's by intuition or by societal conditioning, but I would like to believe that we are evolved enough humans that either way, we can pave a path to a better way. Okay, so again, step one is when mom is taking on more of these tasks. From there, many moms start to feel resentment towards their partner, and they're experiencing less self-care due to the lack of time, energy, and mental space. So again, we're having these kind of disconnect, resentful, jealous, frustrated feelings towards our partner, and also having less time and energy and space to care for ourselves. After that, this resentment and lack of self-care can lead couples to experience disconnect and a breakdown in communication. This is where I see couples who are easily arguing, feeling misunderstood, and this causes more disconnect. When this happens, your partner, and in this example, I'm giving us a heteronormative couple, so this would typically be the male partner. Dad's becoming more out of the loop. Remember, there's less communication happening, and much of the communication is covered in resentment, so it's not clear, it's not exactly purposeful, it's not rooted in teamwork. So partner, dad, usually feels out of the loop, mom's feeling resentful. That's where we are right now. Now, because partner is more out of the loop, mom's taking on even more of the mental load, sharing less with her partner and feeling more resentment. She's feeling stuck and internalizes this as her role. Her role is taking care of everyone else, neglecting herself, and she's not feeling great about it. But this repeats and escalates the cycle. The good news? I think you're a cycle breaker and I can help you do that. I'm going to be hosting a workshop very soon where we're going to be talking about the language we can use, the way we communicate this, when, where, how to communicate, and some practical strategies. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution or situation. I personally don't think this can be solved with a game or a worksheet or a deck of cards, but I do believe there are a few things that have to be in place to make this better. And that's what I want to offer to you, bring to you, and walk you through. First, you have to have the language to express what you are experiencing and what you want to experience. We can feel things so deeply in our bodies, but when we try to say it out loud, it feels jumbled, and then we get embarrassed or frustrated that it's jumbled, and then our conversation escalates and we maybe get distracted or sidetracked, or we just don't get to the point in the solution. And so step one, the first thing I help couples do, and I want to help you do, is to have that language to express what you're experiencing and to be clear about what you want to experience. Clarity is queen here, and it's also something that doesn't always come naturally to us. So I want to help you with that. Number 2 is having the communication skills to discuss this with your partner in a way that promotes teamwork and being empowered and bringing both experiences and perspectives to the table. We are not trying to tell our partners that they suck, that we hate them, that they're a piece of shit. Like, that's not where we're going here, even if that's how we feel sometimes. We are working on teamwork here because this is foundational for the rest of your lives together, the rest of your parenting journey together. And so we need those communication skills to team up with our partners. And then third, you have to look at strategies that allow you to take the things in your brain and bring them to paper. I wish you guys could see me right now. I'm like, using my hands as usual. You have these things in your brain. You need to bring them to paper and to a conversation that makes it tangible and becomes something you and your partner can work together on. So a huge part of my coaching experience is just helping you get things out of your brain and into a tangible place to work with. Now, this 3-step process is what I'm going to be teaching in my free workshop on February 15th, lovingly called Mastering the Mental Load of Early Motherhood. So if you're seeing yourself in this, if this feels close to your experience or reflects what you want to see in your life, in your relationship, you've got to join us for this workshop. And you can do that by sending me a DM on Instagram, postpartum together, with the words mental load. It can be one word, can be 2 words. And then I'll send you a link that helps you to get registered. It'll just ask you for your email address. It'll pop you on the registration list and you'll get an email with the details. You can also follow the link in the show notes below for this podcast. And quickly, if you are listening to this after February 15th, still send me a message because chances are I will be running this free workshop again. Now, I envision a world, call me a dreamer, but I envision a world where we have more teamwork. And this is, yes, because moms are exhausted and overwhelmed, but it's also for other reasons. It's because I hear partners want to step up and step in more, but they don't always know how, or they don't feel confident that there's room to do that because mom is taking over everything. And I want to see a world where moms feel ease and joy, where dads feel confident and connected in their parenting journey, and where kids see teamwork. What kind of world could we live in 10, 20, 30 years if the kids we are raising right now, they're babies, but they grow in a home where they see teamwork, where they hear really good communication, where both parents are empowering themselves and one another, and they see that gender roles are not necessarily indicative of who does what in the home. Again, you and your family are going to figure out how this works best for you. It doesn't have to look like it does in my home. It doesn't have to look like it does in your friend's home. But it is important that we step out of autopilot, that we step out of just thinking that we as moms have to carry this all, and that we develop teamwork and communication with our partners. That's the kind of world that I want to see in the next 10, 20 years. And that's the kind of world I personally want my kids to grow up in. So I hope you'll join us for the free workshop. And below in the comments or over on Instagram, wherever you can find me, let me know what this brings up for you. How are you feeling about this? How does this impact you? And will you be joining us to learn more, apply some very practical strategies, and make things better in your home, in your family, and then see the domino effect all around you? If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you take a minute to help spread the word. As a small business owner, shares and reviews go a long way. So share this episode with a friend, share it on your social media, and please leave a review if you haven't done so. This helps these messages get to more mamas, and you guys, that's how we change the world.